In Conversation with Terry Shepard, award-winning broadcaster, narrator, and author. A deep dive into the writer's craft with the artists and support systems who create the stories we love.
Thanks, Lisa. Many of us know Tracey S. Phillips as the author of the popular MINA'S CHOICE Romantic Suspense series under the pen name Carissa Knight. Her debut as Tracey Phillips is Best Kept Secrets. Tracey is, in fact, a serial artist, as she likes to call herself, who has played the piano since age 3, is a gardener, and a visual artist who loves to draw. Her fascination with the written word led to interviews with over 100 authors and the founding of the Blackbird Writers Group, who expresses their passion for the craft on Substack and includes several of my good friends. Tracey's latest in the MINA'S CHOICE series is Cliff Diver. And when she's not writing or teaching piano, she can be found on the web at TraceySPhillips.com. Tracey, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you so much, Terry, for having me here today. This is great. I'm so excited to talk to you.
For new readers, give us a synopsis of The Cliff Diver.
This is book 3 in a romantic thriller series. And so it's picking up where Jonathan and Mina left off in book 2. Jonathan is headed to Greece to thwart his nemesis, a woman named Rory Bradford. And he disappears. Mina is not having any of that. She wants to find him. She's realized by the end of book 2 that she is in love with this guy and he is worth every ounce of her affection, and she wants to find out what happened to him. So she leaves Chicago and heads to Greece to try and find him.
The hardest book in the series always seems to be the first one. What was your experience with MINA'S CHOICE?
The MINA'S CHOICE series has been a 15-year journey for me. Yeah. The first draft of The Client I wrote when my son was still in high school 15 years ago. And I had read some books right before that, and I decided I can write better than this person. And I have a story that I want to tell. So I got my first draft pounded out in maybe a couple of months. And I knew it was the next big thing. Bestseller. You know how we feel about our books. We love them, right? So I started attending writing conferences. And that was, back when they still accepted a SASE, your self-addressed stamped envelope. And so I was pitching to agents and to editors, and I just kept getting rejected. So then I was like, I'm going to rewrite it. And I did revisions or whatever. And in the meantime, another story came to mind, which turned out to be Best Kept Secrets. And that one I got published. And that I got picked up by Crooked Lane Books. And in the meantime, between writing other things, I kept revising The Client. And so 26 revisions later, right before the pandemic, I reached out to an editor and said, hey, maybe you can help me with this. And she was intrigued just because 26 revisions. She did help me polish that book and get it out there and turn it into what it is now. And so in the past few years, I've published The Contract, and now The Cliff Diver is the final. And luckily, it didn't take me 26 drafts to write The Cliff Diver.
You went to Berkeley as a music production and engineering major. Why that specialty?
Like you said in my bio, I did play the piano from age 3. And that's because my grandmother taught lessons. And I think my mom wanted to get me out of the house. So I have been playing piano forever. Music is like a second language to me. And so I went to Berkeley College of Music and I've got a lot of funny stories about that, kind of interesting, but because it's a jazz school and I wasn't a jazz musician, I learned how to play classical piano. So I was in an arranging class, and the teacher asked us to write a paper about one of our favorite songs and be sure to identify the major parts of the song, the instruments, the instrumentation, the pattern, what's the song structure, and to basically deconstruct this song in your paper. And so I wrote my paper on an Oingo Boingo song. I think it was Elevator Man. I love Oingo Boingo, by the way. And read the paper, and I got an A+ on it. And he asked if he could use my paper as an example for other students. This is what I'm asking for. And I was like, sure. It should have been a wake-up call for me to go into writing and not music. I don't know. Because I wanted to go to Berkeley. I wanted to be around musicians. I wanted to play music, but I didn't feel confident in my ability to. So my audition, I played a Bach Aryan Variations and a couple of Chopin etudes, and they were like, brilliant, here, play this. And they put a lead sheet in front of me, and I'm like, what do you want me to do with that? It was a melody and some boxes with the chord symbols in it. And I'm like, they're like, it's okay, you got in.
How did that experience impact your work as a piano teacher?
Oh, I try to work with my kids now and help them just play, improvise stuff. And it's interesting too, because every kid is different. I'm just like, does it matter what you play? Because there are no wrong answers. And I'm just going to set up this little beat going here, and you can play along. And some kids are terrified they won't do it because they're afraid they're going to hit a wrong note, or I don't know. And I'm like, there's no wrong note. It's just going to sound the way it sounds. And you can explore what sounds good with what I'm playing. And anyway, some kids love it and others are like, nope. But anyway, I try to give them a variety. So I like whereas my teacher was all classical, I try to give my students a big variety of music to play with, because most kids don't really know what genre they like at that age. They aren't really listening to the radio or listening to music. And so I try to give them lots of choices.
Our guest is Tracey S. Phillips. The newest entry in her MINA'S Choice series is The Cliff Diver, written under the pen name Carissa Knight. Her website is TraceySPhillips.com. The late, great Toni Morrison liked to say that the only rules about writing is that there are no rules. Is that how you feel, Tracey?
Yeah, absolutely. This series is off the beaten path, I feel. It's not a true romance, and it's not a true thriller, because it has some very spicy elements, and the story arc between the two characters has as much to do with their relationship as it does what's happening in the bedroom.
Romance and suspense can be two very different genres. How do you weave them together?
So romantic suspense as a genre is a little bit trickier than, say, straight up mystery or straight up romance, because you're dealing with two plot arcs. You have the plot arc of the couple. You want them to get together at the end. And then you also have the plot arc of the mystery or the suspense that's happening. So, and that mystery also has to be resolved by the end of the book. So, you're working the relationship into the suspense as much as you can, and trying to make sure that both stories finish up at the end. And they don't have to end at the exact same time. I mean, you have your black moment with your suspense, and you may have moments like that with your couple. But at the end, they all have to get together.
How have readers responded to Cliff Diver?
Most people are really liking Cliff Diver. To me, it's the best one of the three. But to understand the characters and what they've come from, I feel like you do need to read the earlier books. And we have the bedroom door open in this book. So you get to go with the characters on that journey as well.
What do you love about writing?
I really enjoy the process. I love being with my characters and creating tension on the page too. I'm a high-strung person, and so I think I'm pretty good at putting that tension in the chapters in my books.
You've taken that affection to a new level with Blackbird Writers. Tell us about that project.
Oh, I would love to. Thanks for asking. Blackbird Writers was a brainchild of mine during the early months of the pandemic. So my first mystery was published by Crooked Lane in late October of 2019. I lost my acquiring editor and the publicist assigned to my book right away. And I was struggling as a debut author trying to market the books, and they're telling me to do all these things. They send you the sheet that's 5 pages long. You need to be on these websites. You need your platform to be here. Have a good Facebook presence, or all the things, all the social media. And I'm like, how does one person do all this? How can they expect for an author to write books and also do all of this marketing thing? So in the beginning of the pandemic, I thought it was really interesting because as much as we were all staying inside and quarantine and stuff like that, what you were seeing on social media was people sharing their music, playing for people, because there was a stop to all of the new movies coming out, to the new shows and everything. Bookstores were closed. Where's the entertainment industry? It came to a shrieking halt like the rest of the world. And here are these artists playing the cello in their living room and posting it on Facebook, and authors giving away their books and things like that. So it occurred to me, I was connected with a bunch of groups like Mystery Writers Association and Sisters in Crime and the bigger. And I had already been developing colleagues in the field. And so I reached out to these groups and I said, let's do a giveaway. Let's give away our books to people in the pandemic who can't get entertainment anywhere. Let's just do this. And at the time, my daughter and her husband were living with us because they didn't have any place else to go. And so I got the help of my family members to build a website and get this thing up, get it going really quickly. And there was over 50 authors joined for that first flash sale. And it was a Mother's Day flash sale in 2020. And we gave away thousands of books. And then following that up, I had authors asking me, so now what are we doing next? Come on. And I'm like, that's how Blackbird Writers was born.
And what is Blackbird Writers today?
It's great. We are 24 mystery writers from all different parts of the mystery umbrella, right? We have thriller writers, we have romantic suspense writers, a lot of mystery and cozy writers. We now have 2 canine mystery authors and police procedure authors. So we're a variety of mystery writers. And we have a blog now on Substack. So every week you get to hear from a different Blackbird. And we all share each other's news and events. And everybody does it differently too, right? So one of us might not be so good on Facebook where others are. So we're able to share each other's news and events and book releases and things like that across the board.
What made you choose Substack as the platform for Blackbird Writers?
We followed another writing guru, Dan Blank. I'm sure you've heard of him. Yeah. And he made the move to Substack in January. Maybe it was earlier than that. It might have been last year. But a bunch of us were watching him and we were struggling with our newsletter. Actually, it was taking me a week to assemble a newsletter with news from 24 authors. I decided I wasn't having that anymore. And besides that, there's the cost of the mailing companies or whatever, the email marketing companies. And so there's a few of us who are more into the tech part of writing. And we came up with a plan and we started moved all of our email followers over there. And we just started writing it there. We try not to bombard everybody with emails. We send out 2 a week because we have a bigger platform. We also have the interviews that we do, video interviews. We have the blog. We have special features, and there's tons of content. It's really important to us that we're not bombarding our readers with daily email.
What is the value of Substack to authors?
I firmly believe that if you have a regular newsletter, I know that those are your readers, and that's like one thing that you own as a marketing tool. But on Substack, you still own your reader list, your mailing list, but it goes out into the stratosphere. And so other people can see it if they choose to. They can link to it from other people's Substack. It's out there, and in a way that people can find you and read your content, and it's not stuck in some bubble somewhere in somebody's inbox. That to me is a value proposition, and our readership has been growing since we started in January.
What's next for Tracey S. Phillips?
I've spent the last couple of years working on a paranormal thriller. I don't know that I will write anymore as Carissa Knight. People keep asking, because isn't that the question? You just publish one book and everybody wants to know what's coming out next.
Tracey S. Phillips is our guest. She also writes under the pen name Carissa Knight, and her latest in that incarnation is Cliff Diver, the penultimate book in her Mina's Choice trilogy. Do you enjoy the research dimension of the writer's craft?
Absolutely. I had a lot of fun researching the Grecian islands for this book, but I also wanted Mina to spend a lot of time on yachts in the Aegean. So I did a lot of really great researching very fine sailing yachts. Check out Oyster Yachts. They're just like gorgeous sailing ships. But I also researched the super yachts. Like, you hear the Russian nationals are like leaving the country and living on these super yachts with helipads and all of that stuff. So some of that research came out in this book too. And then anti-piracy. If you're on a boat out in the middle of the water, there's pirates out there. And the pirates these days are bad people. You have to have protection. And so some of the anti-piracy stuff that I looked up was pretty awesome too. They have lasers, they have dazzle guns, shipborne launchers, and other devices to keep people from even like approaching the vessel. And one of the most interesting things that I got into, because I needed a way for them to track my character as she went into enemy territory. So I'm not giving anything away. And so I researched subdermal trackers and how to inject them under your skin. And and so that was a lot of fun.
Tracey S. Phillips gave us the novel Best Kept Secrets. As Carissa Knight, she's written the Mina's Choice series, including the newest entry, Cliff Diver. Learn more about her at TraceySPhillips.com and find her stuff wherever cool books are sold. Tracey, thanks for the conversation.
It's been a pleasure, Terry. Thanks for the opportunity.
In Conversation with Terry Shepard is a copyrighted presentation. All rights reserved. I'm Lisa Davis. Join Terry Shepard next time in Conversation.